Everyone believed they simply disappeared into the jungle. They're wrong. The jungle held only silence. The jungle surrounding Colonia Dignidad was a living wall, dense and unforgiving. For those trapped inside, escape wasn't just a fantasy. It was a desperate, often fatal gamble. Many tried, few succeeded. But for a select group, a plan was hatched, whispered in the shadows, promising freedom far beyond the reach of the colony's tyrannical grip. This wasn't just any escape. It involved a hidden route, a secret rendezvous point, and a vessel waiting in the remote Chilean coastline. A holy ship, as some called it in hushed tones, meant to carry them away from the nightmare. The stakes were astronomical. Failure meant certain, brutal punishment, or worse. Colonia Dignidad, founded by Paul Schaeffer, wasn't a spiritual retreat. It was a cult, a fortress of fear and abuse, disguised as a German agricultural commune in rural Chile. Schaeffer, a former Nazi medic, ruled with absolute power, isolating his followers from the outside world, controlling every aspect of their lives. Children were separated from parents, forced labor was rampant, and dissent was met with unspeakable torture. The colony became a state within a state, collaborating with Pinochet's regime, even providing a clandestine torture center for political prisoners. A dark stain on Chile's history. But even in this oppressive environment, hope flickered, small acts of rebellion, quiet defiance. And for a desperate few, a plan began to coalesce, fueled by the sheer will to survive. They knew the risks. They knew the odds were against them, but the alternative was unthinkable. The escape route was meticulously planned, relying on insider knowledge and the vast, unmonitored stretches of Chilean wilderness. Their goal, a remote coastal inlet, hundreds of kilometers from the colony. There, a fishing vessel, purchased with smuggled funds, awaited them under the cloak of darkness. The details are hazy, shrouded in the secrecy of those dark times. But reports suggest at least a dozen individuals, perhaps more, made the arduous journey. They traveled by foot, under cover of night, avoiding patrols, pushing through dense vegetation, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. They were driven by stories of the outside world, snippets of reality smuggled in by new recruits or defectors. A life free from Schaeffer's sermons, free from the constant terror. A life where children could be with their parents. A life they barely remembered or had never known. Finally, after days of treacherous travel, they reached the coast. The air was salty, the vastness of the Pacific a stark contrast to the claustrophobia of the colony. And there it was, bobbing gently in the dark waters, their holy ship, a beacon of hope. The vessel was small, perhaps not seaworthy for a long voyage, but it was their only chance. They boarded under the watchful eyes of the few trusted outsiders who had aided their escape. The engine sputtered to life, a rough, hopeful sound against the roar of the waves. Their destination was rumored to be Argentina, a neighboring country where they hoped to find asylum and finally expose the horrors of Colonia Dignidad. The journey would be perilous, but the dream of freedom outweighed any fear of the open sea, or so they believed. The ship, a modest fishing trawler, was named the Estrella del Mar, Star of the Sea. A fitting name, perhaps, for those who saw it as their guiding light out of darkness. They sailed into the night, leaving behind the nightmare of the colony, heading towards an unknown future. But the Star of the Sea never reached its destination. It simply vanished. No distress call, no wreckage, no bodies, just silence. The official explanation, if one existed, was lost to the winds of time, or perhaps deliberately suppressed. Back at Colonia Dignidad, the disappearance of the escapees was met with a chilling indifference. Schaeffer simply announced they had been punished by God for their defiance. No search was mounted, no questions asked. Their escape and their fate became a forbidden topic. Years passed. Colonia Dignidad continued its reign of terror. The world largely ignored the whispers, the reports of abuse, until much later. The holy ship and its passengers faded into legend, another tragic footnote in the colony's dark history. What truly happened to the Estrella del Mar? Theories abound. Some believe the ship was simply unseaworthy, succumbing to the powerful Pacific currents. A tragic accident, nothing more. A plausible, if unsatisfying, explanation. But others whisper of a darker truth. that the escape was compromised, that Sheffer, with his vast network of contacts within the Chilean military and intelligence services, would have known and would have acted. Was the holy ship intercepted? Was it sunk deliberately to send a chilling message to any future escapees? The idea is horrifying, but not beyond the capabilities of a regime known for its brutality and a cult leader who ruled by fear. The lack of any tangible evidence makes definitive answers impossible. The ocean, vast and indifferent, holds its secrets tightly. The survivors of Colonia Dignidad, those who eventually escaped or were freed, carry their own scars, their own unanswered questions. The story of the Holy Ship is a stark reminder of the lengths people will go to for freedom and the terrifying power of those who seek to deny it. It's a testament to the human spirit, even when facing unimaginable odds, and a tragic symbol of a dark chapter in history. The victims of Colonia Dignidad, including those lost on their Estrella del Mar, deserve their stories to be told. Their quest for liberation, however tragic its end, must not be forgotten. The silence of the ocean can never erase the truth of their courage. Explore another cult's chilling secrets and the hidden truths unearthed in our next deep dive.